Well, it's that time of the year again where games now suddenly become cheaper as part of Black Friday. So this is going to be a little ramble on it because it's always that season where, well, as I just said. Anyway, hi, I'm Milla. Welcome to Milla's Gaming Video. This one is specifically, well, I said already, but again, there's a lot more just going. Oh, Black Friday's around the corner. This is a video and ramble on it because it's kind of important to kind of talk a bit about Black Friday a bit, and like it's easy to get overwhelmed with the hype of it basically, and it's important that what it stands for, and often how it's used, because again, like Black Friday is a symptom of capitalism. Like again, living in a capitalist society that's on its last legs as stuff happens, which I'm not going to go into so much here, but if you understand anti-capitalism, you'll understand. Anyway, so why usually happens on Black Friday? It's primarily a US thing. I'm not in the US, so obviously I can't talk about Black Friday outside of the non-US context, but in America it's ridiculous, like people going at stores, even losing their lives as part of Black Friday stampedes and that shit, and that is ridiculous. That is exactly the kind of crap that pushed it too far. And here in the UK, unfortunately, that's a recurring theme because this country is shit. But anyway, here in the UK, it's not as big. There are still people that do deals, but again, like, not as big. And generally, it's generally safer to do online and also not in person. And I think a lot of things I remember Black Friday is that in many ways it basically is a scam. Like companies they're making things cheaper just for this period so people can get things at slightly more reasonable prices, which is generally the trend. Like if you're going to do Black Friday shopping in person in the UK, it generally is safer, but in the context of video games specifically, you only really have two in-person stores and also a bunch of online ones. And online ones, you're more likely to find the genuine deals, especially if you buy from publishers directly. I know NS America, Europe, and the European store, and all the other stores managed by Reef Entertainment for these different companies like Idea Factory and Axes as well. They have Black Friday deals, and those are genuine. You can 40% off and get it direct from them for actually a reasonable amount of money. And you can't really say that for many other places. In terms of in-person shops, the main ones we have are Game, which is a company with a long and troubled history of pricing things too high and then falling into financial difficulty. And right now they're owned by Sports Direct. And if you go in there, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find a decent deal during the year. But when it comes to the end of the year, like Black Friday and Christmas, now all of a sudden things are cheaper. So if you're going to buy from Game, then, just wait for that time of the year if you're going to buy things. Not strictly Black Friday, not exclusive. So, again, FOMO's all bollocks. And then, of course, you've got CEX, which is, putting aside the unfortunate acronym, they don't really do it. You can just go in, and near Christmas, actually, is when the whole place is, completely gutted of games. People go in and just buy for their family as Christmas presents. And then after Christmas, you go in there and there is sweet fuck all to buy for yourself. So if you're going to go to CEX and get stuff, which generally I would recommend being careful, because in places like CEX, even outside of Black Friday, there are issues of quality control, and sometimes the things are scratched, sometimes they're not. My one that's near me, they do actually check this shit, so you can go in and they're going to actually check the discs and that before taking them. So you ain't going to find what I once had. We're trying to buy a copy of Tales of Eternity on the PSP, and then you go in and suddenly, the UMD is literally covered in green gum. And it looked like someone had brushed their teeth and then spat out the contents onto the disc instead of into the sink. And that's kind of what it looked like. And yeah, I'm already going off tangent, but that's okay because all of this ties in. No discounts, but when you find the gems, you find the gems and can save money. And that's not something that can be said about Black Friday in America. But yeah, I think a lot of it is as well as the local things in terms of if you're focusing purely on collecting, Black Friday on paper is can you really you can find something as long as you rocking and are savvy and well, just, keep looking and be careful not to fall too much for the hype. On a wider societal level, again, it does expose issues of capitalism, and also in terms of like the UK in particular. During Black Friday weekend, there's going to be a massive postal strike, and it's going to be an inconvenience, but that's the whole point of the strike. And it also ties to things of how workers are treated during Black Friday, the abuse that members of the public often give to shopkeepers when they don't get the exact deal they wanted, or the abuse they give each other. Again, as I mentioned, the extreme examples at the start of the kind of shit this can lead to, and also ties into capitalism's like implementation of FOMO and just like trying to encourage people, you come to this part of the year and to like buy stuff now, even though we can make it cheap later. It's like, it builds into a sense of FOMO. And this urge, if you don't buy it now, you will never get it again. And like, I can understand that as someone who's into like physical JRPGs. Like, if you buy JRPGs, often down the line, like years later, they're going to be really fucking expensive, especially if they're not by certain companies like Square Enix or Bandai Namco. Or Atlas in particular is really expensive for a lot of their games, especially the third-party ones they published. So I kind of get that, especially comes of like FOMO for Black Friday. It's just kind of like, yeah, I get why you want to do that, and Black Friday is an opportunity where you could save money. But yeah, I think in terms of Black Friday, I say like, I think in general, if you're going to do Black Friday, only do it online. Don't do it in person at all. Just focus on online and don't put too much pressure on it. And again, like, if you can, in the area, and you've got things like, people are striking, go and show support, that kind of thing. Because bear in mind, like, cut people slack, like they're striking because their pay is shit and working conditions are shit, or they're going to be made shit by employers and that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, the well-being of the workers and the people that are unfortunate enough to be behind the tills on events like Black Friday, but especially during Black Friday and by extension the wider Christmas rush in general, they're the people whose needs should come first above you saving £10 on a fucking video game. Because again, they're just games. So yeah, if you also want to buy, just, don't moan at people when they take forever to deliver things or it's not in stock. This should be basic shit, but if you've ever worked a customer service job, or even, well, give a shit about the well-being of other people, you will see how many members of the public are assholes, because that's what capitalism has convinced people to do. On top of some people being just awful in general. Like, it's just, yeah. There's a lot to talk about with the nuance of this. And yeah, it's a lot to talk about, and I just think it's important to kind of talk about that. Like, will I personally participate in Black Friday? I'll have a look online. Potentially, like, just see what there is, but usually I end up not getting anything because, again, it's all shit, basically. But if I do get something, there might be something, might not, but again, don't fall in for the hype, protect yourself, protect your money, protect your willingness to fall for corporate bullshit, and you will be okay. But also, again, solidarity to workers, solidarity to people striking. If you do go in person, don't be a dickhead to other people. Don't be afraid to leave if it gets unsafe, especially if there's a risk of crushes or anything bad, if it gets really chaotic. And don't be a dickhead to people behind the till, or even not behind the till. Don't be a dickhead to people in the shop. And the fifth one, they're just fucking video games. Or they're just this item. Like, if you're also going to look for things on Black Friday, look for things that you know you need and try and see what there is there. Because, again, not game related, you don't need a game, but you might need like a new light, a new seat, a new picture frame, or something that's not a video game. But again, cut people slack. And if we're also like, yeah, I'm probably going to repeat myself now, so I'm going to stop, but now I've passed the 10-minute mark, so yay for more algorithm boosting. So, that's a win for Milla's Game Ring. Anyway, this was kind of unscripted, so if it's not up to the usual par of previous videos, then I apologise. I also apologise if in the background you can hear fireworks going off because it is November the 5th today, and I'm not going out to watch fireworks, #mental illness life, so instead I'm going to spend time recording videos and editing and producing content for Milla's Game Room, which is what I'm doing now, even though this video won't go up till later this month. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, for watching, for liking, subscribing, commenting, notification bell, all the other algorithm boosting stuff goes here. Thank you, and bye bye.